I've got to finish this job because there's so much at stake.
A make-or-break moment for an embattled president. Every answer he gave in this crucial news conference under the microscope as he fights for his political life.
I'm not in this for my legacy. I'm in this to complete the job I started.
After brief remarks, the 81-year-old president took pointed questions from reporters who asked numerous times about his fitness to serve.
Hasn't this now, frankly, become damaging for America's standing in the world? Thank you.
Did you see any damage to our standing in my leading this conference? Have you seen a more successful conference? What do you think?
This was President Biden's first solo news conference since last November, forced to speak off the cuff, making a gaffe on the very first question when he mixed up his vice president with his Republican opponent.
I wouldn't have picked Vice President Trump to be vice president, but I think she was not qualified to be president.
This flub was not Biden's only mistake of the day.
Ladies and gentlemen, President Putin.
Earlier, at an event with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, he accidentally introduced him as Russia's President Vladimir Putin before catching his mistake.
President Putin. You can beat President Putin. President Zelensky.
The president also rejecting reports that he's had to cut back on his schedule to go to bed early, although he conceded that he needs to pace himself to avoid being overworked.
I love my staff, but they add things all the time. At the very end, I'm catching hell from my wife.
Biden's news conference unlikely to ease the concerns among many Democrats on Capitol Hill. On Thursday, the number of congressional Democrats calling for him to drop out ballooned to double digits. Party insiders are concerned that we could see many more defections in the coming days. But on Thursday night, President Biden remained defiant, saying he had no plans to leave the race.
Tomorrow, if all of a sudden I show up at the convention, everybody says we want somebody else, that's the democratic process. It's not going to happen.
And following his high-stakes news conference at the NATO summit in Washington, President Biden is scheduled to sit down for an interview with NBC News Monday night, just as the Republican National Convention is set to kick off in Milwaukee. Reporting here on Capitol Hill, this is Koslof, Spectrum News.